Okay, so I'm sorry folks, there might be a video or two short, but I will explain it on the WhatsApp today. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're talking about what is a sentence. So how do we take these nouns and these verbs, these parts of speech, and use grammar, the rules of the language, to make sure we have our words in the right order. So I asked the question to the group here, what is a sentence? And they're going to tell me what they came up with. So go ahead guys, what is a sentence?
Has to have an action in it.
Has to have an action in it. Okay?
Has to have a noun in it.
Has to have a noun in it. So it has to, if we say it has to have an action, we're saying it has to have a verb, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just put that in brackets. And it has to have a noun in it. Good. What else does a sentence need?
Has to have period.
Period. Yes, it needs a period or
punctuation.
Or some kind of punctuation. Kind of punctuation. Where?
In the end.
At the end. Okay. What else? I'm going to add a really important one. Needs to express a complete thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we cannot put that punctuation down until we've answered the who, what, when, where, why of the question. Okay? So we are going to do just a mini look at this, at how it works. Looking at this. Okay. So the simplest form of a sentence takes your noun and puts it right at the beginning. Okay? So you're always starting with the noun. And I want you to learn this. We call this, that we start with at the beginning, the subject of the sentence. That's important because you're going to see when I hand your work back, I'm often going to say this. I'm going to underline your subject and underline your verb and then say, look, you're not finishing your sentence. It's not a complete thought, okay? So the noun that comes at the beginning of your sentence is called your subject, okay? So in this case, if we were looking and using this as an example, how would you describe this person? What would you say?
The baby.
The baby. Okay, let's do that. The baby. Now, baby is our noun, right? Now, the reason why we call this our subject is because we can't just start baby, right? We have to say the baby. And together, the baby is our subject, okay? The baby. And then we need our action. So what verb do we want to put in there for this cute little baby? What's the action that she or he is doing?
Cry.
Cry. Yeah. So now here we have a choice. Do we want S, ES, or ED?
Cries because it's
Okay.
doing this now. But
Okay. So cries. Okay. So the baby cries. And then we have to ask ourselves who, what, where, when, why. Now we just need to finish that. Make that a complete sentence. What do we want? The baby cries.
Right now. Or
That will, okay, let's put that down. The baby cries right now. Now, if we say, so we've got our subject, we've got our verb. Now I heard somebody say you could just say, like, for example, the shortest sentence in the Bible is Jesus wept. If you look, it's a very short little sentence. Jesus wept. So, here's the question. Do we have a subject?
yes.
Yes, it's Jesus. Do we have a verb? Yes. Do we have a complete thought? Jesus wept?
yes.
Yeah. So you could use that. It's not a very long and complicated or complete thought, but it is a complete thought, but it's not telling us the who, what, when, where, why. Okay? Sometimes you could. I would usually say, try and tell me a little more, right? So we could just have the baby cries, right? Now, as soon as we have this, cries, we call this the simple present tense of the verb. Then that means we're talking about routine, that the baby cries at night. Then we know that every night the baby cries. If we say the baby cries right now, that doesn't work because it's happening right now. That's when we get your favorite ing. Okay? Yeah. And that's when it would be like this, crying. But then we would, INGs always need the helping or the linking or the be verb. The baby is crying right now. We couldn't just say the baby crying right now, right? So as soon as we get into the INGs, that's when we need that helping, that to be verb. Okay? So then together is crying is your verb, right? Okay. So the baby is crying right now. Okay? If we said the baby cries, that's a routine thing for the baby. It's happening all the time. So we would say the baby cries what? When her diaper is full, oh, that's the when. When her diaper is full at night. Okay? So that's giving us the rest of the details of the sentence. Okay? Right now, all of that other stuff that comes in the sentence, all those other parts of speech, that's for another day. Okay? Right now, we're just focusing on that we need these two things at the front. We need the subject and we need the verb. Yep.
Is the subject always a noun?
Yes, but this gets into something very confusing. They're called gerunds, and I'm only going to briefly just talk about this. Sometimes we take a verb and we put an ing on it, and it becomes a noun. Can I give you an example? Drinking water is important to your health, or for your health. Okay? Here, the drinking becomes the thing. But that's for another day. Okay? Right now, I just want you guys to focus on creating sentences for this exercise that have a subject for sure at the front, and that have a verb, and that tell a little bit who, what, when, where, why. Okay? So right now in class, you guys are I'm going to show you 2 or 3 more pictures like this, and you're going to write down your sentences on your papers alone, privately, alone. Then I'm going to take them, nobody's going to know whose is whose, and I'm going to enter them into the computer, and we're going to look at them up here and see. Okay? Alright, so the next one I want you to make a sentence for is this. So go ahead, make a sentence for this diagram.
Sorry, I have to attend this call.
You at home can do the same.